What's up? Welcome back to the channel. I want to say thank you for coming and hitting this button, linking to this video. Appreciate you following me and my Saab stories. So about a week ago, if you click this link right here, you'll see that I tell the story of how I had to replace the rear main seal, and then right after that, I have to replace the air conditioning compressor. Wonderful things to replace, very expensive. Pretty much a typical Saab story. I mean, any car really, I guess. I shouldn't be just, you know, shouting out Saab, but well, here comes the typical Saab story. This is the ultimate Saab story. You ready? So, after I spent all the money fixing those parts, right before those parts were replaced, I had an oil pressure switch replaced, which is a very common failure, by the way, on these old Saabs. And shortly after that, the weather got warm here in the New York region area, New York Northeast area, summertime, hitting 80, 90, 100 degrees, and fair enough, the car gets hotter, the oil thins out, and I was getting an oil light at idle. And these cars, if they have a sludge issue, tend to become what they call loose engines, where the engine is not getting enough oil and the rings are wearing down, and when the oil heats up and it thins out, between the combination of old bearings and thin oil, you have lack of oil pressure. So I got very nervous, very scared. I got really distraught over this. I just spent so much money fixing the car, and I'm doing this research on this oil light. The car sounds great, it runs really well, but I'm getting this oil light and thinking, wow, maybe the engine got damaged from all the oil leaking and maybe, you know, some sludge, even though the pan was fairly clean. Long story short, I brought it back to the mechanic that helped me do the oil pressure switch, and I said to him, the engine sounds great, it runs great, it must be a defective switch. I said, can we do a test on the engine, make sure we're getting oil pressure? He says yes. Check out these pictures right here. So we do the oil pressure test on the vehicle. I'm helping him. I'm in the car, sitting on the car, in the car on the lift, as you see in the pictures here. And he's running the engine, I'm idling it, I'm revving it, and then at one point, he says to me, put the car in gear, keep your foot on the brake, because obviously the wheels would spin in the air and whatever. So I said, okay, no problem. So he goes, hit the brakes and hold it. So I'm holding the brakes, and all of a sudden, pop! And the pop, all said and done, I felt in the pedal, and all of a sudden the wheels started turning. Or like, it must be the ABS, but there's no ABS light. So, sure enough, after doing the oil pressure test and replacing the oil pressure switch, we discovered that the vacuum line, one of the vacuum lines was broken from the pump, you know? So we put a new one on. It didn't fix it. We discovered the brake booster failed while I was in the air helping him perform the test. I go to pick up the car the next day after the brake booster is repaired, and I see on the bill that the mechanic put the new vacuum line system on the bill because he put the new part on, even though we glued and fixed the old vacuum line setup, right? Because you can run an adhesive on there. So he goes, okay, I'll take that off the bill. And as I took the new part off the car and I put it on his desk and I installed the original part, oil leaks out of the tubes, all over the tubes, all over the desk. And he comes to me and says, Kyle, you got another issue. I said, what now? I can't ever leave the Saab mechanic without an issue. He says, the vacuum pump is gone on your car. I said, how do you know? He says, there's oil all in the vacuum lines. So of course, me being the Saab enthusiast, as you know, and you watch my videos, I did some quick research and discovered that when the And I discovered this. The vacuum pump creates vacuum, and then when the engine's running, it also creates vacuum. We all know that because naturally aspirated engines create vacuum as well. So, but when the vacuum pump on your Saab goes bad, and the engine is creating more vacuum and it's not equalizing itself, it begins to suck oil out from the engine through the vacuum pump that's not functioning anymore. And that's why I was getting the oil in the vacuum lines. So, vacuum line pump, I replaced there. He luckily had a genuine Saab, and I put it in there. He didn't charge me labor, he just charged me for the part, whatever the cost was from, you know, Euro parts. And so, cool, I fixed it. The car was able to drive home. It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. But get this, I'm leaving his garage. I said, all right, beautiful weather, I'm gonna put the top down. Ding dong, the top says check top. Well, check your latches. Hey, check your trunk lid. Hey, check the bag. None of that, none of that. Just ding dong, check soft top. Oh my God. Like, I can't leave the Saab mechanic without another problem. And I get home and I discovered that as I was putting the top down, that one of the hydraulic lines on the top failed and was leaking, was leaking the hydraulic fluid all over the place. So, here is where I am today. Today I'm running with the top down, but that's because it's down manually. I put the top down manually. Tomorrow, which is Monday, I should have the new hydraulic line. And once that is put on, I should be back to normal, because we'll have full functioning top and we'll have the engine and everything running beautifully. Now that we replaced the booster for the brakes, the cruise control is not engaging. You see this hair right here? You see this hair? I haven't had time in the last 2 weeks to even cut my hair because I've been so busy trying to keep this car on the road, brand new looking, just the way it looks, and acting brand new, just the way it looks, because right here, behind me, is where they used to sell Saabs in Denville, New Jersey, in the area that I grew up in. And this, right here, is where it all began. And right here is where I will end it. So that's the story of my Saab, and that's the ultimate story that I want you to know about where my car has been in the last month.